So today we're going to talk about what equipment you need to go metal detecting, so we're going to get straight to it. Hi folks, I'm Ross Minton, this is Grow Your Own Life, and as always please like and subscribe to my channel, and if you want to find out more about metal detecting, or maybe you're a gardener and you'd like to follow my allotment vlogs, then please feel free. Right, first of all, you need a metal detector. That's right, yeah, you can't really go metal detecting without a metal detector. You could try, but then you'd just be a guy walking up and down a field with a stick. Nothing wrong with that. I've spent many a time in my youth walking up and down fields with sticks, but when I've done it, I've never found anything strange. All I can suggest is metal detectors are a very personal thing. You will soon find that once you get into the hobby that people have their favourite brands, and they almost become enshrined to them. And the reason it's a personal thing, because all metal detectors work ever so slightly differently. They give you ever so slightly different readings. Obviously they all do a similar sort of thing in obviously finding metal, but they all do it in a different way. And as with everything in life, some are better than others. All I would suggest is don't buy cheap. Stay well clear of anything you will find in Argoses, in Poundlands, this, that and the other, and go to a specific metal detecting store. If you're in the UK, someone like Regton's. I've had dealings with Nigel at Regton's and he is awesome, and he sorted me out when I was a beginner and he gave me loads of information all via email. I would not buy metal detector online second hand from eBay, and I wouldn't buy it online from companies that you have not been endorsed by other people. So if not, like, go to places like Regton's. Don't buy from China, don't buy anywhere else, because there are fake metal detectors out there and you will spend hundreds of pounds on what is basically a calculator and a radio, and it will be absolutely useless. Secondly, I would say do your research. Research loads and loads and loads. Go and talk to people, go and speak to metal detectors ask on forums. You will get a million answers. People will tell you 100 different metal detectors to buy, but then you can do your research and you can figure out what's best for you. It might be the weight, it might be the ground you're going on, it might be all different things that you want to consider, but you basically decide what you want the metal detector for in your head. So you think to yourself, I live in a farming community, there's lots of ploughed fields by me, I can get access to them, I know the farmers, blah 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 blah, and this is the metal detector I want. Or it might be, I live near the coast, so I need a metal detector that I can go on the beach with, and the wet salty sand and all the mineralization and all that kind of thing. So do your research and find out what is the best metal detector that suits you. Some metal detectors are great for everything. I have the Minelab Equinox 600, and that is brilliant for parks, fields and the beach. In the past I've had other metal detectors that are great in fields, but they can't use them on the beach. So this is why you basically have to do your research. After a metal detector, the next most important thing in my opinion is a spade. Otherwise you'll just be digging like a fox, frantically pouring away at soil. There is a million different spades out there to buy, and you can get, I wouldn't say conned, it's the wrong word, but you can get led down the road that you need a metal detecting spade, and these are expensive. They are very expensive, and they can run to like £100 for a spade. Yes, they look nice, and yes, they've got cutting edges and this, that and the other, but as a person who has an allotment, and I've used loads of spades over the year, I go for the best value for money spade. I want something strong, I want something that's going to last, I want something that can do the job, but I also don't want to spend an absolute fortune. I don't want a £100 spade in the back of my car. So I have a Bulldog rabbiting spade. Basically that's a spade with a longer yet semi-circular cut to it, and that means I can dig out nice semi-horseshoe plugs, fold them back, put them back in, and also it's a Bulldog spade. People dig roads with these things. It's like a spade of choice for workmen. So me digging a few holes in fields, this spade should really outlive me. And the thing is with these tradesman type spades, they're a few quid. I mean, a Bulldog spade will set you back between 15 and 20 pounds. You can get other spades as well. You can buy these little spades from I think it's Draper. But again, it's up to you. If I don't want to bend down and crouch, so I want a long handled spade. Some people want a little spade that they can carry around with them, put in their rucksack, whatever. Again, do your research, find out what the best spade is for you. After your spade, you want to get a trowel, simply because when you've cut out your plug and you folded it back, you might have to dig a little bit more, and again, you don't want to be scratching around with your hands. So a little trowel. You can buy what people call swordy spades, which are these really cool spades with a serrated edge, and they're for cutting and this and the other, and they have a slightly offset handle, and again, they cost anywhere between 30 and 80 pounds for these little trowels. And if you want that, then crack on and do it. Me, I have this. I have an Asda trowel. It has the hook handle for pushing, obviously, deep in. It also has the offset to shaft. You could sharpen the edge if you wanted to make it a cutting tool. I haven't, just simply because I don't need it to be sharpened. It's got the measurement depth on it for obviously planting your plants. This trowel, and there's loads like it in garden centres up and down the country, this trowel should have cost me £5. Yes, cost me £1.50 in the sale, because at the end of summer, when Asda were getting rid of all their gardening supplies, this trowel was £1.50, and I've had it now for 3 years. I think I've had this trowel. Yeah, 3 years. So again, you can spend as much or as little as you want. After the trowel, what you want, and you don't necessarily need these. I started without one, and I found some really cool things without this, but they do make life so much easier, to the point where you probably speed up digging your holes by 200% because you find the target so much quicker. So you want a pinpointer, and this is a mini metal detector, and basically it will detect around the end of it, probably up until 3-4 inches, and it's so you can find little things in the ground by poking and prodding, and it will go. We'll turn it on and we'll show you. Should find my phone. Ready? Okay, so if I wave it in the air, it doesn't do anything because there's no metal near it. Goes near metal. So that's how you find metal in the hole. Now, pinpointers, they come in all shapes and sizes, but again, as with the metal detector, buy them from a reputable company, because there are a lot of Chinese fakes out there. And also, I'd say don't scrimp, simply because you can spend £20 on a detector and it will find stuff. They can also break quite easily, the cheaper ones, and then next thing you know, you're spending £20, £20, £20, £20, £20, and before you know it, you might as well have spent, you know, £100 or something and got yourself a decent pinpointer. So again, it's up to you what you do, but as the old saying goes, buy cheap, buy twice. So get yourself the best pinpointer you can afford, and I have to say, I love my Minelab Profine 35. It's great. It's a lovely thing, and I love it being yellow. That might be me being a bit of a geek, but I wouldn't want a black pinpointer because I'd lose it and leave it behind. I have a lanyard on it anyway, but the fact that it's bright yellow, it's perfect for me because I am a forgetful monkey. After that, so after your detector, after your trowel, after your pinpointer and your spade, obviously you can have rucksacks and this, that and the other and blah blah blah, but you will soon find that taking your rucksack on and off, on and off, on and off, to get pinpointers out, to get trowels out, and to get gloves out, and this, that and the other, and again, you'll need some decent gloves. Get yourself a fines pouch. Okay, I have a couple of them. I have a nice little Minelab one, which is lovely and clean, and in my bag, but for some strange reason I've become slightly addicted to this one. I think it's the camo on it. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm also a fisherman and we're a bit addicted to camo, but I love this little fines pouch. This was the only thing I'm probably going to say to you, buy cheap and off eBay. Okay, this came from China. It cost me £8 including postage from China. It's got loads of pockets and pouches. I can put my phone in there, I can put the trowel in there, the pinpointer in there, I can put my fines in there because of all the little pockets it's got. It's a great little, I think the Americans call it a gun bag or a tactical bag. It goes around your waist, it straps to your thigh, and I love it. I really, really do love it. And that is probably the only thing I would say buy from cheap from China, is get one of these tactical bags. You can buy them in this country, but you'll pay 20 quid. Or you can wait 3 to 4 weeks and you can get one from eBay from China. So there we go. Save yourself a few quid on the bag and put that towards your detector. So as for the other equipment you might need, have some decent gloves. You don't need fancy gloves, but I have to say these Minelab gloves have been the best gloves I've used. I garden and I get through so many gloves because I wear gloves in the garden, because it's quite easy to get a splinter in a nail and then the dirt gets in there and you get infected, and you know, and then that hurts. And I know people that have almost lost fingers because of infections in nails and cuts, because obviously there's nasty things in dirt. You know, you can pick up things like tetanus quite easily from cutting your finger in the ground, especially on farmland. If you're in a field where there's cows and sheep have been, you know, urinating and defecating, and you're digging around in it, and you get a cut on your finger, or there's broken glass, there's rusty nails, whatever, scratch your hand, that could quite easily turn to a nasty infection, and then you could be looking at sepsis, and it could be very, very serious. And I know some people are probably going to laugh at this and say, oh, I don't wear gloves and it's never happened to me. I know it's never happened to you and this, that and the other, but we wear seatbelts in cars, and yet a lot of us will never have a car crash. But it's a precaution, and I would honestly say get yourself some gloves. These gloves, like I said, have been awesome. I love them, and they've been used and abused, and I've even used them down the allotment, and they're still going strong. The cheaper gloves, which is nothing wrong with, I've bought them in the past. I've bought them from Wilkinson's, I've bought them from garden centres, I've bought them from DIY stores. You know the ones, they're like elasticated with rubber bits. They're fine too, they're brilliant, they will protect your fingers, but I find they don't last very long. I find that, again, because I use them in the garden, you dig around, they soon rip, and next thing you know, you've got a hole where your thumb is, and then what's the point in wearing it if you're going to be grabbing stuff and your thumb's exposed? So decent pair of gloves, in my opinion, is a must. But you know, you decide that for yourself. So that's the equipment you need for metal detecting. Now I'm going to tell you about the legal side of metal detecting. So if you'd like to find out more, please watch the next video. And until next time, speak soon.